What's good, boy dudes and boy dudettes? And today we have got another Disney animated film, and it is Alice in Wonderland, a 1951 animated American musical fantasy adventure film produced by Walt Disney Productions and based on the Alice books by Lewis Carroll. It's the 13th film in the Disney animated features canon, and the film premiered in London on July 26, 1951, and in New York City on July 28, 1951. And Walt Disney's first attempt unsuccessfully to adapt Alice into an animated feature film during the 1930s kind of failed. However, he finally revived the idea in the 40s. The film was originally intended to be a live action animated film. However, Disney decided to make it an all animated feature film in 1946. The film was considered a flop in its initial release, leading to Walt Disney showing it on television as one of the first episodes of his TV series Disneyland. It proved to be very successful on TV, especially during the psychedelic era. If you don't know what the psychedelic era is, it was an era during occurring between the years 1965 to 1969, so kind of like the 60s. And the psychedelic era was kind of the time of social, musical, and artistic change influenced by psychedelic drugs. And I can kind of see why it was popular um, in that era, but we'll get to that later on. Um, the film was released in theaters after the release, and it proved to be even more successful through merchandises and home video releases. And in total, it has a lifetime box office of I have no idea. Lol. Anyway, Tim Burton did adapt a remake sequel of the film in 2010. So, what is this movie about? Well, Lewis Carroll's beloved fantasy tale is brought to life in this Disney animated classic when Alice, a restless young British girl, falls down a rabbit hole. She enters a magical world. There she encounters an odd assortment of characters, including the grinning Cheshire Cat and the goofy Mad Hatter. When Alice ends up in the court of the tyrannical Queen of Hearts, she must stay on the ruler's good side or risk losing her head. Can Alice make it out alive and safe? We'll find out. And let's talk about the good of this movie. And I have to admit, it is the crazy looking visuals. This movie was it was during the kind of silver age of Disney animation, where but from Cinderella to about Sleeping Beauty, Disney kind of had this like interesting style of like animation. Like the visual look was very interesting and unique, you know. And what I noticed is that they were heavily influenced by the artist Mary Blair in her like type of like visual look and visual language. And I think she was like what an executive like consultant in terms of like the visual development look of it. And it does show in the backgrounds, you know. It's very similar to the look of Cinderella in some aspects, but it is very different. Like, I feel like the animation, like the character motion, is much more fluid in this one than it was in Cinderella, and I think they have truly improved from that film as well. Um, like just looking at the animation, I absolutely freaking love the look of it. I love the colors. I just love how all the colors just kind of correlate well to one another, and they all contrast so nicely. And each character design has a unique look and unique colors, you know. And characters, let's talk about characters. And the lead character is Alice. Alice was voiced by Catherine Beaumont, and you might know her and recognize her voice from Wendy from Peter Pan. And yes, she did voice Wendy in Peter Pan and this one. And I like the character Alice. She is this like what 10-year-old girl. She's very feisty. She, I like the character of Alice. She just gives this kind of like she's very curious about everything, and she uses that word a lot, curious, in her really British London accent of hers. And I freaking love the way she's just so like when she's in this world, she's just like she's the only one who makes sense in this whole world. Everyone else is just kind of like bonkers, and she's the only one who's like, making sense of everything. She's the one who's pointing out all the odd things, like why is this happening, why is that happening, and we as the audience also kind of relate to the character because we're also wondering why is this happening, why is that happening, and I actually really like the character. I actually really like the character. I think the voice actress does a really nice job with the actress, and a much better character than the 2010 remake. Oh my gosh, far more interesting. She's feisty, she's stubborn, she doesn't give up, but she's human as well. She's scared, she's worried at times, she's scared of not gonna see her family again, and yeah, it gets emotional, I have to admit. Other characters in this film that I really liked was the freaking White Rabbit. Oh my gosh, that White Rabbit was hilarious. Who was saying that how late he is and how he needs to go somewhere, and oh my gosh, that freaking White Rabbit is just, oh, oh, oh. I love that rabbit. I'm sorry, I freaking love that rabbit. That rabbit is funny as frick. And you got the Cheshire Cat, played by Sterling Holloway, who does Winnie the Pooh from the many adventures of Winnie the Pooh. But I think the one who steals the show is definitely the Queen, the flipping Queen of Hearts, played by Verna Felton. She gives this bombastic, elaborate performance as the Queen of Hearts. Every time you see her on screen, you just kind of want to laugh because her design is just so exaggerated, and she just freaking like she just kind of like nitpicks on every little thing. Anything that pisses her off, she will get angry and she will. Oh my gosh, she's just so funny. I love her design. I like her flamboyance, and they really do exaggerate the mouth shapes in this Queen character, to be honest with you. I freaking like this character. Just the way she looks, the way she sounds, everything about her is just so funny. Like, it's just so exaggerated. And the soundtrack isn't too bad, I have to admit. It's not one of the soundtracks I would constantly listen to again and again and again. But yeah, I do like the film. I think it's really goofy and upbeat. But in terms of mixed aspects of the film, I have to admit, it is the goofiness. It is the weirdness of this film. This film goes into directions that is just so bizarre, so weird, so trippy as flip that even for me, this is a weird film. Like, it gets a little weird at times. And there's so many sequences that just kind of feel like you're on drugs. And this is why it was popular in the psychedelic era, because it has kind of these, like, the colors are so trippy and vibrant, and it just kind of looks like someone was on drugs when they made this, because it's so out of this world and bizarre and bonkers that people who are like on drugs would like kind of relate to it, like the bizarreness of it. It's one of those movies that you would watch once or twice but never again, because I think it's just too weird, and it's just too, for me, I think it's, the pacing of this film is weird because at times it slows down and it's like, okay, and then it just speeds up and it just goes really crazy, and it's just, oh my gosh. And it's like, it doesn't give you time to absorb what's happening. It's just bang, 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 bang. And it's like, come on, let the audience absorb what's happening, man. But yeah, anyway, apart from that, Alice in Wonderland is a crazy yet fun fantasy and family film. Nice for all ages with great visuals, lovely soundtrack, and really unique characters who all shine and have their moments to shine. And with that said, I'm going to give Alice in Wonderland a 7 out of 10, and I'm going to give it a B. Go check it out, but watch it. It is one to watch and it's one to enjoy. But thank you for watching this review. Please like and share this video and comment down below and tell me, what's your favourite Disney film? Did you like this film over the Tim Burton remake? With that said, thank you for watching. As always, Boyd is signing out.